most important things in dairy cattle is the transition period. We typically think of the transition period being 3 weeks before calving up until 3 weeks post-calving. This period has a large influence on the lactating period, trouble-free milking, and reduces the risk of having sick cows. The question is, how are you managing your dry cows? There's a lot of different factors which can have an influence on your success. Think about feed, environment, management and protocols. We created a roadmap with 5 easy steps to help you with the dry cow management and thus healthy, successful lactation for the cow.
Step 1. Dry off protocol. We know it's really hard in the current market situation with milk demand and supply when to dry cows off. How do we do this right? How do we make sure the cows don't get mastitis? We do know that 60% of all the cases happen during the dry off period. How can we manage this? How can we transition cows from the milk cow TMR to the dry cow ration with minimal risk of mastitis?
Step 2. The feed. A well-balanced ration is one of the most important things for the dry cow. Her dry matter intake can decrease during stressful moments or environmental pressure. So how do you make sure that the intakes are good and the feed in the bunk is exactly the same as your formulated ration? Up to 80% of all the diseases are not seen during the dry period, which can be feed related. For example, a decaf formulation of the ration can help lower the risk of milk fever because it activates calcium mobilization out of the bones. Selenium can help with immune issues, and also colostrum quality can be related to the dam's ration. And as we all know, the colostrum quality is the most important thing for your newborn calves.
Step 3. Housing. We all think we can solve a lot of issues by formulating the proper dry cow ration. However, we cannot forget about housing. We got to make sure there's enough bunk space for the cows, enough water, enough room for them to lay down. We want to make sure that all the heifers and timid cows also have a good opportunity to eat and drink, and we can evaluate this with the STEP program.
Step 4 is comfort and stress. So your dry cows are in a nice, not overstocked pen, have a limited access to fresh feed and clean water. Don't forget to check your water quality. The next step is comfort and stress. Pen movements can be very stressful for the cow because she will have a new pen with new friends and she has to get used to her new ration. She should not be moved more than twice after dry off. Lameness is very uncomfortable, so trim her feet at dry off. And this is also a good opportunity to vaccine her. As you move cows, remember that rations should be adapted to higher intake levels of cows just dried off.
Step 5. Management. We all realize no dairy farm is the same, and we need to work together to make sure we have an effective and efficient dry cow protocol for you. It almost starts when the cow gets pregnant. We got to make sure we have good reproductive numbers that ensures the cows get pregnant on time, make sure she has a good body condition at dry off, and to make sure we minimize the risk of any ketosis that therefore should help us get her in calf soon again and make sure that we have a healthy start to a good lactation.
He just mentioned body condition score. Did you know that cows with a body condition score around the 3 have less issues around calving and are most likely to breed quickly?